You're listening to Have I Got a Story for You, a podcast from PJ Library. Today's story, Rebekah at the Well, comes from the book of Genesis. Rebekah, or Rivkah, was known for being a truly beautiful person, both inside and out. In this story, listeners will get to hear of her immense kindness toward a stranger. For more about Jewish values and culture, be sure to check out our website, pjlibrary.org. Abraham knew that his son Isaac wanted a wife, but Isaac needed help finding a woman he wanted to marry. Abraham knew just the person to help, his most trusted servant. "Can you go and look for a really nice woman to be Isaac's wife? A very kind and good person?" Abraham asked his servant. "I'd like you to look in the land I was born in, Mesopotamia." "I'll leave right now," the servant said. He loaded up his camels with some food and bedding and set out. After a long day, with the sun beating down on his head, the servant finally reached a town in the evening. He led his camels up to the town's well. "Now you can rest," he said to his camels. "Just kneel down there." The servant took down the packs and sat down on one. He knew that the women of the town usually came to the well in the evenings to get jugs of water. The servant rested his head against his favorite camel and began to pray. "God," he said, "I'm here, just as Abraham asked me. When the women come to get water, I'll say, 'Please lower your jar so I can have a drink of water.' And I know that whoever is kind enough to offer water not just to me, but to the camels too, will be the one who will become Isaac's wife." Just as he lifted his head, he saw a beautiful woman coming toward him. He sat up straight. As he watched, the woman began filling her jug up at the well. The man scrambled to his feet and ran toward her. "Please let me sip a little water from your jar," he begged, his heart pounding. Quickly, she held out the jar. "Drink," she said kindly. "Please, you must be so thirsty." He was thirsty. He drank and drank, and then the woman said, "I will also give water to your camels." Abraham's servant took a deep breath. He stood watching as the woman filled her jug with water again and offered it to the camels. Was this the woman? Was she the right one? She must be. She was so nice and had been so considerate to him and to the animals as well. When the camels were done drinking, he took a gold nose ring and 2 gold armbands from one of his packs. "These are for you," he said. "What is your name? Who is your father? And can we rest at your house?" The woman took the ring and the armbands. She looked at them, then put them on. "I'm Rebekah," she said. "You look tired. Come with me. There is plenty of straw and feed at my home and also room to spend the night." The man sent up a prayer to God. This was the woman. She was good and she was generous. She had given the answers he had prayed for, and she was from the land of Abraham's birth. Rebekah ran ahead as he gathered up his camels. She called out to her brother as she neared the house. "We have a guest! An important guest!" Rebekah's brother came out and saw the nose ring and armbands Rebekah was wearing. Then he saw Abraham's servant and the camels. "Friend," he said as the servant approached, "please come inside, and let's give your camels some straw and grain. Then maybe you can tell me what is going on." The servant sat down, and Rebekah's brother, father, and mother, and Rebekah brought out food and water to wash the man's dirty, hot feet. He smiled at them both. "I am Abraham's servant," he began, and he explained the whole journey, how Abraham had sent him to look for a wife for Isaac, how he had prayed to God that the right woman would offer him and his camels water at the well, and how Rebekah had done that and had accepted his gift of the jewelry. "Tell me if I am right," the servant concluded. "Rebekah, are you the right woman for Isaac?" Rebekah and her parents and brother all looked at each other. "Yes," they said after a moment. "Yes." The man grinned. He dug into his pack and brought out beautiful clothes and gifts made of silver and gold. He offered them to Rebekah and her family. Everyone ate and drank and celebrated. The next morning, he woke up early. "We should begin our journey home," he said to Rebekah and her family. "Abraham and Isaac are waiting for us." But Rebekah's mother and brother threw their arms around her. "We're going to miss you so much," they said. "Can't you stay just a little longer? Please?" "We really do need to go," the servant said. "Rebekah, do you want to stay home a tiny bit longer?" Rebekah's family asked her. "Or do you want to go now?" "I'd like to go now," Rebekah said. "I'm ready to meet Isaac." Rebekah's family stepped back. She had made her decision. Rebekah and her servant mounted the camels and followed along, back down the dusty road toward Abraham's house. They reached home just as the sun was setting out in the fields. Rebekah looked up from her camel. She saw a man walking amidst the grain. "Stop!" she said, and got down from her camel. "Who is that man walking in the field toward us?" she asked Abraham's servant. He smiled. "Isaac," he said. Rebekah drew her veil around herself, a sign of betrothal. She did this to show that she meant to marry Isaac. He approached and took her hand. "Come and meet my family," he said. And together, they walked to his tent and went inside.
This episode was written by Emma Carlson Burnett, narrated by Percy Blythe, and produced by Ali Thresher. Our music is licensed by Epidemic Sound. For full credits, please go to pjlibrary.org/podcast.